All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We got Honey here, she's helping us. We're gonna be working on the 392 today. You guys may have seen in one of the, hi Winnie, in one of the previous videos or an Instagram reel or something where Tracy had got me this Stinger Horizon 12 as a present. I think it was their July 4th sale they had, and then they also stacked a veteran military discount on top of that, so that was really fantastic. Super grateful for companies that do that. They don't have to. That cuts into their profit margin by far. So we're always grateful when people give back to that military veteran or first responder communities. So anyway, so the Stinger Horizon 12. I haven't unboxed it yet. We're going to unbox it here together and get started on it. I've never been happy with the screen in the 392 from the factory. It always seemed to me as though it didn't really have a very good resolution. The resolution didn't match what the specs were. I asked the dealer to look at it. They said it functions perfectly fine, exactly the way it's supposed to. So I'm sure part of it is, you guys probably know, Tracy and I are a little bit seasoned, and we use readers. We have all kinds of things, and our eyes aren't quite what they used to be. And so I'm sure that's part of it. So the Stinger gives a little higher resolution than stock. Obviously, it's quite a bit larger than the stock screen is. And then the other thing I specifically wanted a unit like this for was, I want to mount a camera face and rear. I think this will take, just out of the box, 4 input cameras. Currently stock, the 392s have the grill camera and then the backup camera. And I wanted to add a camera under the transfer case on the skid plate that points to the rear drive shaft. I want to be able to look into the screen and see if the rear drive shaft is in any kind of danger, jeopardy. I think you guys saw that video. We were in Stony Lonesome where one of the folks we were with smoked a rear drive shaft on a rock. And boy, that ability to see that, your spotter's got a ton to look at already, and that's pretty tough to look up underneath there and try to see if those are always in a good spot too. So the other thing, I wanted to add another camera on the front cross member pointed forward between the 2 tires. I think we'll see. I don't know if either of these cameras will actually work in practice. That's the concept. But the front one, I want to be able to see when the tires are about to hit an obstacle. The other thing too is I have a very special knack of just taking out steering tie rods. Even the Synergy unbendable forgings. I bent that. So now I am into the Fusion kit. I think this is maybe my 3rd steering. And so far it has been flawless. If you guys watch the videos from Maris, 2 of those videos, I really got into the slid off a rock and landed on the tie rod. And so far it has sprung back flawlessly. The Fusion, those guys, and we're not sponsored by them. We paid full price for everything we have. But the guy that answers the phone there at Fusion is just fantastic. No BS warranty if you have an issue. So really, I think try to hook up with good companies like that and get some good parts. So anyway, so we're going to unbox this guy together. We're going to start the install. I haven't opened it yet, so this will be the first opening of the boxes and seeing how it's packaged. And then we'll start on the Jeep. I have watched, the Stinger has a nice install video. I did watch it, so I think it looks pretty straightforward. Pulling a lot of wires is kind of a pain, but it sort of is what it is. And then it looks like it's definitely plug and play. There's just a lot of stuff to plug together. But nowhere in the video do you got to strip wires, make your own harness, or do any soldering. So stick along and let's see how this process goes. Thanks. So welcome, user guide, install guide, scanned for those items. That's nice. Oh, look at that. They even give you a trim panel tool. Probably have quite a few of these. I tell you what, I have one just like this. I don't remember where I picked it up at, but I took a sander and I sanded this down to be very thin, just so I can take it and go between the fender and the hood and dig out all the rocks that get stuck in there. I just carry it in the back of the Jeep, and when we're stopped somewhere on the trail, I just dig them all out. So those are fantastic for that. Looks like instructions and features. Oh, this is nice. This is every component, of course, the wiring diagram, and then, oh yeah, it looks like every single step with full color pictures. This is nice. These instructions aren't cheap to produce. I'm surprised that a lot of companies now have just went to the total scan this and look at it on your own. We're not printing anything for you, which, you know, there's a cost there, and then there's also, I think as they update the instructions or find new things, it's easier to update something digital than it is something they sent out in all the boxes. So here we go, nice high density foam. Oh yeah, look at that. So that is, if you guys can see it, yeah, we got everything packaged pretty well. This is the screen. I think you could, it's like the mount or the brain. This is the screen itself. Oh gosh, yeah, look at the size of that thing. Zip ties, so they even give you zip ties. Interesting. I noticed in the instructions they talk about using a zip tie as a wire fish tool, and maybe they've given you one for that purpose. I'm not sure if that's what the long one there is intended to be. I have some 24 inchers. They're great from Harbor Freight. They're like $2 for 10. I chopped the fat end off of one, and then I don't even use tape. I use a Velcro cable management thing. I'll put my wire on and then use that to pull right through. You know, it's probably 3-4 times thicker than this guy. Real stiff, easy to help you route. So that's an option too. So let's see what else we got in here. So this right here looks like, oh yeah, nice. So, you know, one of the things that's frustrating, I think, a lot of times about putting things like this together is they give you a bag of crap and you got to go through it and match up what parts what. And this is really nice. They've individually packaged every single thing for you to eliminate any of that kind of confusion. Even a screen cleaning cloth. This looks like video in components. Interesting. I'm not sure what this guy is. It's kind of a magnetic plate. I don't know. Interesting. We'll have to see where that fits in. So modules. Here's all these different modules. HD camera retention. This looks like it is what probably maintains all of your factory equipment. PL, pack link. So everything is really nicely labeled. Kudos to Stinger for that. That is truly fantastic stuff. This is the door chime. I've seen this on the install video. This looks like the rest of the harnesses here. Yeah, sure enough. Yeah, here we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's fantastic. There's for the vents, the current vents. This I think is the kind of the frame for the radio itself. Again, each harness individually packaged. So nice. So really takes the guesswork out. USB, I think this is the one that goes through the center console. I'll be honest, I'm not sure I'm going to use that one. I don't use the center console plug for anything today. USB, yeah, again, harness after harness, all individually packaged. Super easy to tell what's what when you come to that stage of the plug-in. Oh, this looks like a satellite antenna adapter. I did not realize it had this. And I bought an aftermarket one to reuse the satellite antenna. I may be able to send it back and reuse that guy. So super cool. I'll let you know as we go along if that's for sure what that was. This looks like a camera adapter. So yeah, so fantastic. And then I think this is, almost drop it. This is the brains of the whole unit. It's incredible, the microelectronics these days and what they can package into this little guy. So truly amazing. So there you go. So that's it unpackaged. So I think we'll probably head out to the Jeep next. Of course, these dogs are all taking a nap. Head out to the Jeep next and get started on step one, which I think is popping out the center console underneath the dash. So come along. All right, guys, let's get started. Oh man, that guy is in there. Okay. I love plastic panels. I tell you, I love them. Step 2, grasp the climate control panel at the exposed left edge and pull out to unclip the left side. Well, guys, I've never had any of this apart before. So you are seeing it as I am. Oh, man, I just cleaned this too. And this stuff is slick. All right, there we go. Let's see. So it looks like you just squeeze on the top. It came right out. Squeeze on the tab there. And he came right out too. Perfect. Step 4, 2 7mm screws securing the radio bezel to the dash. So that's got to be these two guys. Oh man. All right, guys, added some more light to everything here. I got this handy little Milwaukee screw gun. It's fantastic for these kind of jobs or doing outlets around the house. Just nice. You can set the torque and do all kinds of good stuff with it. All right, that was step 4. Remove those screws. Pull outward on radio bezel to unclip and remove it. Alright, lost one, looks like. These things are, Step 5, remove 4 7mm screws securing radio in place. And these are just Phillips head, guys. You could use a little socket attachment if you want. These all look to be the exact same screw. No differences in lengths. Okay. I don't know if you guys use these, but I frequently get these from Harbor Freight. They're constantly on sale for $3, I think. Little magnet on the base. They'll stick to something. Whatever you put in them stays. They're just fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, disconnect the antenna. Lift out the radio. Okay. All right. Yeah, nice. I can't really get you guys a look at this, but here's what it looks like. You guys can see all that, I hope. Let me hold this up. There's kind of what you're starting with. All right, let's start disconnecting. Oh, these little dudes are made for people with much smaller fingers. Oh, that little guy right there is stout. So this does clip up to release it. So you guys can see there's this little hook right here. That's what I was having trouble with. And you push that up and then that'll release this mechanism where it locks in and then that'll pop right out. So that's it. That's the end of the factory radio, November 22. This was, I think, just in time because I think our JL was actually built in December 22. So that's pretty fast turnaround. I'm certain these are made in China. So anyway, all right, what's next? Let's see, so that's the end of that. So we go step 1, open the glove box, unclip, soft clip opening, blah, 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 arm. Okay, we'll jump around and do that next. I think this are all, the shifter as well, all CMM off-road, really handy stuff, super handy. They make some nice products. I'll tell you that that shifter is their hill killer, and it allows you to you can, I think it's a T25 over here. There's our rearview mirror. You can flip it and make it where it allows you to go from drive all the way into reverse without stopping. So if you're on, and I have used it one time, I've been where I thought the front was coming over, and I was able to slap it up into reverse and kind of get back out of it in time. So handy. The bad thing about it is it's so much bigger than the stock one. The two were never meant to be together. I really ought to probably figure out how this door comes off and remove it. But anyway, back to what we're working on here. So you just push in on this. Oof, look at that dirt. Push in on this, and it'll slide forward, and it'll slide itself right out of there, and then you can remove the glove box completely, which I definitely needed to do anyway. I want to show you this too. I picked this up, I think it's Amazon is where I got this. It's a metal trim panel tool, and as you can tell, it goes to almost fingernail thin. Has a great curve. I want to say it's $10. I don't remember if these numbers mean anything. You can probably just search on metal trim panel tool. And I really like this a lot better than the plastic ones. I seem to even do less damage with it. So either way. All right. So this little trim panel, I don't think you guys can see where the camera is. It's trying to film these the same time we're doing. It's kind of new for us. So anyway, just popping this little panel tool, this little panel here on the side off. It's just wire routing is the only reason you're taking it out. But had these guys out a couple of times before. And then I got to remove these, so let me grab some tools for that. My setup's totally different probably than most of you guys. Again, I have the CMM off-road. There are little modules up here that give me another place to mount something, and then if the doors are off, I have their mirrors that go in these holes. And then, I have the Switch Pros down here in the bottom, and heck, I'll be honest, I put this guy in so long ago, I don't even remember how he comes out, so I'll have to look at that. All right, guys, I'm gonna punt. I'm gonna run it down this side, just because this side's a little easier for me to get everything to. That that Switch Pros is a super handy mount, but it is some super tiny screws, and it is a real lesson in patience to deal with. And as I recall from the video, there is a ton of extra cable. So I'm certain you can run this down either side. It may be easier getting up behind the radio from that side, but we'll just have to see if we can do it from this side too. I'm certain we can. Yeah, see, there we are. So see, that shouldn't be a problem, right? Yeah. Oh, let's pop the speaker cover. Always make sure these clips, when you pop these guys off, that you still end up with the 4, because they're a pain if you don't have them. Okay. And then this guy just pops off. You can see he locates in this pin, and then this is the clip that you're trying to overcome when you do it. All right, T25. Mine's also a little bit different here. I've got these bungees for Spider Shade, or one of the brands. I don't remember which. We originally had hooks, and Tracy's hair continually got caught in them. And I think Spiderweb Shade is who sells these, and that's Hair Saver, I guess. So, guys, you were warned. So if I can get this up here so you can take a look at what I'm messing with here. I think you guys know we have the Sky One Touch roof, which we love, we truly love. It's pretty fragile, but we definitely love it. And what you can see here is, here's the screw I got out, Here's the other screw you're supposed to get out. And the header for the Sky One Touch is kind of in the way. So let me see if I got some kind of combination of tools that will get that out or not. Okay guys, so I happen to have this, it's kind of this Milwaukee Torx bit here. That's the T25, and it was really long, and it kind of allowed me to get in there at the angle. And to be honest, looking at it, I'm not positive you have to take it out. All you're gonna do is run a wire underneath this. Okay, we got that off. I think you guys know I got my little makeshift guy here. I think Jeep now has a handle that fits in these. But this has been fantastic for us. Tracy loves it, the kids love it, Bella, I guess. So I'll probably just keep using it. It looks like everything here is on the inside. So I'll run in and we'll start putting the mount prep together, all those components. So be right back. So every project ends up with multiple pairs of glasses involved, of course. Okay, locate radio module left and right. Got that. Here's this guy. Let's get this open. Line side brackets to the radio panel. There we go. Didn't drop it this time. Let's see. They orient theirs this way. And then it looks like. All right, so left bracket here, big plug. This points back towards you. Next, pair side brackets to the main bracket using 4. Okay, we got that mounted. So just for clarifications, the radio kind of tells you Phillips screws, 3/8 screws, but going into the radio, there's 2 types of screws. There's this kind of big Phillips, sort of like a machine type screw without a point, and then there's these taper headed threaded screws. And obviously the radio, you guys can see those are threaded. It gets the taper headed, threaded screws that go in that actually have a thread, and then these get kind of the big Phillips head rough ones. So got that piece mounted up. So it's like next we're going to do the module brackets, lay it out. So over here on the left side, I show you zip tying this. Need the glasses. Of course. Okay, we got those in there. So this side with the plugs, I don't know if you can tell, but here's one of the tabs, and here's a tab to run a zip tie through. And if you put one through here, I think it could potentially interfere. So I'm probably just gonna do 3 on this, and we'll see how that works out. I can't imagine even more than 2 zip ties are needed to hold this in place, but we'll see. Okay, so next piece. Okay, pack link goes next. All right, you guys can see the pack link module here. Here's my guy. He has zip ties are able to go underneath. Okay, and I think what you want to be sure is just that all these plugs face the same direction. Okay, your 4 remaining big screws, they have you go ahead and just barely start them because the little bracket that you tied everything to is slotted. So you can put it in and then you can tell it just slides right in here, and I don't even have these tight yet. Specifically said to be sure this connector and these dip switches were facing up like this in the back. So let's go ahead and tighten these. Okay guys, I think I've got all the harnesses ran. I don't know if there's anything particular you want to see. The one I didn't run was the, if you're utilizing external amplifiers, I left it over there. I don't, I use the factory system. I could see at some point putting in that Rockford Fosgate kit. It looks phenomenal, but the price tag is certainly difficult at $5,000 on that guy. So anyway, so here's how it looks. Here's the front. I kind of got everything routed around. I went through the video. I went through the instructions are actually pretty good. Everything on here is labeled really well. Most of them even will tell you, I'm not sure if you can see this, but connect to PL1. This one says connect to Radio Pro Advanced. 26 pin radio connector. So just take your time. You know, there's no, I don't think, really walking you through this. I think I got everything connected. Then I realized there was a little better way to route wiring. And so I unconnected and moved a couple of things just to be a little bit cleaner. I'm pretty sure when we get into the dash, this is going to not be super fun to mess with. But the only catch is, you know, depending on whether your system has an amplifier, plug in here. If your system is factory amplified, plug in here if you don't have a factory amp. The 392s do, I don't know on your system. And honestly, I can't even tell you how to go and tell whether you do or not. So that might be a good AI search for you. So I think next thing we do now, we'll be back in the Jeep. We'll start running a couple of wires, and then we'll start plugging this in. The manual here actually has a great, you know, I never think about this. I wish I would more often, but you know, hey, take this top piece of foam, go lay it basically where the shifter is, and you can set this guy, you know, face down in it. It doesn't scratch anything, it protects it, and then we can start making all these connections that we have to make. So that'll be next. Okay, looks like we're on page 10. Find the glove box, connect the white, male white connector from the cam harness to the green block. That makes total perfect sense. To white goes to green and green goes to white. I'm not sure why we wouldn't just color code those, but regardless, those guys are plugged in. Okay, done. Run the 4-pin connector, so that's going to be this guy up behind there. I'm going to hold off on this for just a second because, you know, I'm going to run my GPS wire. Let's see. There we go. All right, let's see that about that one. I think on this, you really just want this guy as long as he needs to be. There is just no room in here, and we're going to be putting a lot of wires in here. So I'd rather take the excess for this guy and zip tie him up here instead of trying to fit. I think the less you can fit in here, the better off we're going to be. If you guys get this radio and you kind of hold the size of the harness that's going to shove in there, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, next let's do this GPS antenna, which is magnetic. We'll use my zip tie again. We're gonna leave all that extra down here again. I think you're just gonna be ahead with the more of this stuff you can poke back here. You know, on mine, you do you, right? I just use these little, it's just a cable management. It's easier to me than taping, cutting tape, you know, all that kind of stuff every time. I just stick it on. Some of these I'll pull this guy off, or I've cut him in half before if he's way fatter than the wire. Just depends. I know there's a handful of these over there. I just usually grab them out of the box, and they're nice. They're nice length. I wouldn't even mind to get some of these maybe that are about 3 feet long, but either way, these work. They do what I need them to do, and so we're good. So anyway, so I routed this guy up down here, back behind the dash, and up to the spot where he's going to be. We'll tie up all of our excess here with a zip tie in a second. Okay, here we go. Take this guy out. More of this plastic that we all love. Okay, so just quick, kind of bring you up to where we are. So you pull these two screws. You pull obviously the one that holds this out, and then there's one underneath that you pull out as well. I did have to go to neutral, and I had to move the transfer case to get this out far enough to get behind her and work, but I got size extra large hands, so you may not have to, but I had to. So, and then you start making the connections, and man, I'll tell you, the instructions just aren't awesome at this, and neither is the video. The guy does every connection in probably, I don't know, 7 seconds.
Yeah, 2 seconds. It's not even seconds.
It's really fast. But so you got a USB harness, you connect it to the USB. This green to red one is the weird one, and I'm pretty sure red is the stock backup camera, but you feed this little RP1 harness guy, and you feed a USB cable all down behind this. You plug them into that little radio or camera retention module. You plug them all in. You can see they're plugged in there. There's another plug right here available for a camera. Here is that little harness module right here that we plugged in. You plug all those in, and then you mount this guy right here by the screw. So then we also had to do the radio antenna converter. This comes in the kit from Stinger, plugs into this guy. USB we already talked about. The one that's weird, and I plugged it up in here already. I've already moved it. But for the satellite radio to work, it does not come with the module for that. Babe, can you grab that box over there? So you have to buy your own satellite tuner. Yeah, I don't know why it's that way. That seems odd to me, but anyway, I'd read that already, so I'd went ahead and I had bought it. Here's what I had got: this SV300 tuner. That's what you need right there. They give you a cable that connects into it and then connects into the factory antenna. So you can reuse the factory antenna, but you got to have the tuner yourself. So this SXV300 is the one you have to get it done. So I think that kind of brings you up to where we're at right now. We still got a couple. Like one I really don't understand is this guy. This goes to that little chime speaker. And I think it's on the radio module where it goes, but the instructions make it sound like you're plugging into the Jeep harness. For vehicles equipped with factory backup sensors, connect the 2-pin chime speaker connector to the main harness. The main Jeep harness doesn't have a connector for that. I think there is a chime connector in the radio harness, but so I wish that was a little more clear, because it doesn't make it clear at all. So anyway, so we've kind of done all this. We've got all the connectors done. Page 13, we did the camera retention module. You can see all the plugins here, the camera, the harness, the HDMI cable, and we went into HDMI out. So I'm certain that'll be important at some point. There is an in and an out. I'm really not sure. We have a front camera on this. I assume it's one of these, but I don't know. And the instructions don't address it at all. Any way, shape, or form do they address it. So somehow I got to know how my front camera is retained, and then how the hell do you add all the extra cameras? The instructions don't talk about that either. So I'll probably get close to buttoning this guy up, and then being sure it functions, and then I'll probably have to contact Stinger on Monday just to understand the rest of the components. So anyway, so we've done this. We've put this screw in, and it is a little weird that the module goes backwards where you can't see it. You can see that's the shine of the bracket instead. So the module's really far back in there. The satellite tuner, I poked it way back up here as far as it would go. Again, I think we're gonna seriously run out of real estate when it comes time to start poking everything up there. We've also went ahead and added the felt here. You just turn these up where they're vertical. They got these little V notches. You line the V notch up with this and stick them on. That one's a little crooked. I don't think you can see them when it's done. I think they literally just protect the finish if you ever want to remove this. So I think next we're gonna go ahead and button this guy back up in there. We're gonna grab the radio and start plugging it in next. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, here's kind of where we are. We got everything put in here, and I have these two left over that were in the factory radio, and I'm not sure where they go to. The instructions don't cover them. Nothing really covers them. I tell you, you want to definitely get as much stuff over there and down there and over there as you can, because it's really a beast to get this put back in there. It took both my wife and I poking on it to do it. So all we got left to do is the display will plug in right here, and then the display snaps in to these four guys. And then there's two screws that'll hold it in down here. And there's a screw somehow here at the top. I think it's this guy that I'll have to try to get to. I've had to kind of move my radio out of the way. All right, guys. Well, here we are. We had two plugs left. One is just the mic plug that's on the back of this unit. And then there's off the AVN, there's a little harness. This is mic. It was an easy one. And then there's this basically is just a USB-C plug that goes in. I did struggle just a little bit with these vents. I got them pointed just a hair out, kind of like this, but that you'll feel the pressure as you're trying to snap it until you get those in about the right spot. Now I'm just kind of playing with it. I've got my extra camera plugged in, and I plugged into the wires that say power and external camera. Here is my little camera guy. Let's call it low front. Oh, low front's already taken. No. Cam trigger. I don't have a trigger. Okay. Let's go back. Let's go cameras. Should have two low ones. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There it is. And it's black and white. That's super weird. And I still have the two plugs that I didn't use for anything, but everything works. I thought for sure the normal front camera would not work, but there it is. There's the stock, Jeep camera, and it works with that. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Rear works perfect. There you go. And then the camera that we got over here in the seat next to us that is super unattractive. Okay, so that's looking good. Take a little bit to get used to this for sure. Sirius XM, I think you got a call to connect, and I'll probably have to be outside for that. Yeah, very cool. So there it is. It's in. Works. I tell you, it took it a while to boot up, long enough to where I actually thought there was a problem. That initial start was... I didn't time it, but it was a minute for sure. So it kind of had me worried. But anyway, all right. Running the last camera wire here. So I'm using my little fish tool here with the cable management strap. I've got another one of these connectors. I think this one is the camera 2 input. And this will be the camera that I have into the front. Again, there's 4 of these. You can see all the yellow connectors there. 4 of these possible that you can connect cameras to. Plus, it natively supports the front and rear cameras. They worked from some of the plugins that we already made. And then also, just so you guys will know that there is a camera, a positive and a negative in this wiring harness. Camera turn on, and those activate the cameras and power them, and then each of the the camera wiring harnesses will have a positive and negative. So what I did was I got my own red and green wires, or red and black wires here, sorry, positive and negative. I think I ran, these are I don't know, 18 gauge or something, 16, 18, and I went ahead and I connected those to the camera turn on, and then I ran them over here under the glove box, because back here's where all these connections are going to be. Again, you guys have heard me talk about how limited the space is up behind the radio, and this is just easier to get to once you make the connections behind the faceplate. I'm hoping not to take that off again. So anyway, so I ran these over to here, connected them, and right now I'm just going to test this new camera that has came in, but I will permanently connect all these up here behind this glove box, and I'll pull power off of this, and then you know, the connectors for it. Many of these cameras have, you know, they connect via this and then run out their harness here, has that connector and then goes to the other end to the camera. So that's it.
Guys, so looks like it must be Christmas in July at the Morrison household. There's the new rock slide sliders for the LJ, and this is his new surprise for today. So
I didn't get you anything for Christmas.
Let's open this.
Let's open this. You ready, buddy? You wanna help me? You wanna help? You wanna help? You wanna
All
help?
the dogs are helping.
All the dogs are helping. All right, here we go.
No, just open the top.
Oh, open the top.
That's why I covered the sides, because it has
I got you.
clearly what it is on the sides.
And this is nothing I'll poke a hole in, right? With a razor blade?
Yeah, I don't think so. It'll be just fine.
Trust my cutting skills. Oh, nice. Oh, yes. Look at that. 12.8 inches.
Yeah.
Finally a number I understand.
Yep.
Oh, so I don't know if you guys know, but Trace and I both are almost blind up close. We can
Pretty
see
blind.
at a distance. And I've never liked the screen in the jail. Since day one, I've like, dude, what is the resolution of this? It's not clear. It doesn't look like an HD screen to me. So I always struggle with the front camera. And I really wanted to, when they came out with this one, I looked at the previous one before, High 10 or something was what it was called. And then when they came out with this one, I was sold. It's a bigger screen, it's a higher resolution. This is full HD display. And I think this thing will take up to, that's my baby, she's so happy with it. I want to say, I think with an expanded module, you can do like up to 8 different cameras. And I'm really looking forward to putting a camera, you know, right behind the transfer case on the skid plate, pointed back at that rear drive shaft. If you guys remember our Sony Lonesome Day 2 video, poor Party Time smoked his rear drive shaft. And I think it'd just be great to be able to look at that camera view and see if that drive shaft's in jeopardy. And then we actually use the camera in the grill quite a bit, but you know, it just kind of helps you when you come over hill and you can't see what's there. And I think if we could mount one down on the front crossmember pointing forward, you could literally see, you know, your front tires right when they were about to break over a drop or right when they were hitting a ledge. So, like, super excited to get this. Oh man, now, gosh.
You got a lot of projects, so
I won't have enough time to get this
an install to be done at some point. So anyway, that's it.
Thank you, baby.
There's
I love you.
And Honey's happy.
She's so happy.
All right, more to come. Bye.